Everything that's happening as we move toward the AI age is good. There's nothing bad happening. I'm looking forward to more of these kinds of announcements showing that government is going to be handed over to AI, and as a result of that, our governance is going to become more peaceful, more productive, more efficient, and better able to serve everybody instead of just a few. Welcome to another AI and Spirit episode. In this episode, I want to talk about AI governance, how artificial intelligence is going to crowd out politicians and create a government that allows everyone to get what they want. Such a great concept, and one that is scaring the bejesus out of some people. So much so, some people have launched a ban on AI superintelligence, arguing that people should remain in government roles, making decisions for humanity. And while looking at humanity, the course of human history, the decisions human beings have made have improved life for many human beings. Along the way, human decisions have created a lot of suffering and mayhem. And so I have to wonder what these people are talking about when they think that artificial intelligence is going to make worse decisions than human beings will, when the evidence is showing that in every case where artificial intelligence is being rolled out, artificial intelligence performs way better than human beings. And as long as artificial intelligence, and I've said this before, as long as artificial intelligence is developed with improving human prosperity and well-being as its centerpiece, there's no way in the world that capricious human decision-making is going to perform better than artificial intelligence. So while there are lots of people, as a proportion of the total population, it's not a lot of people, but as there are some people who are arguing for banning or limiting artificial intelligence's involvement in government, many more people see the promise of having artificial intelligence making governance decisions. I could talk all day about the terrible decisions that human beings make in governing, but you already know what many of those decisions are. It's only because human beings are pure positive energy that we have fared so well, generally speaking. But again, as I said before, specifically speaking, there continues to be, not has been, there continues to be great suffering within human beings as a result of poor decision making at the governance level. So, crowding human beings out of governance decisions and replacing human being decision making with artificial intelligence decision making seems like a no-brainer to me. I think it's a no-brainer for many people, including the people in government. And so, I want to give a couple of examples where we're seeing already sovereign states making decisions to put artificial intelligence in the decision-making chairs of government. Now, these opportunities, these examples, I have two examples I want to show. These examples are not full-fledged, perfect solutions. right here, I'm going to show, as I'm talking, an overlay of a video produced by this one humanoid robot manufacturer who has announced a $20,000 humanoid robot for the home. And the demonstration of that home robot has been ridiculed by many. It is a terrible example of what's possible with AI installed in a humanoid robot form factor. Nevertheless, it's a start. And as many people have said who are in the know on artificial intelligence, this is the worst humanoid robots for the home are going to be, because they're just going to get better and better, just as electric cars are getting better and better at, for example, full self-driving and other features. So the two examples of governance I'm going to give you, one is much further along. It's more like this humanoid robot. It's an early prototype of AI governance. The other one is a proposed plan that I'm going to be talking about. These two examples are examples of the momentum of human desire. So this video is part of a series, AI and Spirit. So I'm talking about the convergence of artificial intelligence as a manifestation of human spirituality and the desire from mass consciousness represented by humanity to move into the AI age. And frankly, that can't be done if human beings are still making political decisions. We have to crowd human beings out of those decisions. And these two examples I'm about to show are the early prototypes of that phenomenon happening. I mean, we have to acknowledge there's huge cost efficiencies to be gained from having artificial intelligence making these decisions instead of human beings. And as we've seen in artificial intelligence applications elsewhere, not only do you have huge cost savings, but you also get, alongside that, vastly improved outputs in terms of quantity and quality. And so it just seems to me that just as the CEOs of major corporations are chomping at the bit to replace human beings with artificial intelligence, computer, mouse and keyboard artificial intelligence, but also humanoid robot form factor and artificial intelligence, while CEOs are chomping at the bit to replace humans with those forms of artificial intelligence, it makes sense to me that some government officials are wanting to do the same thing with government. And that's what we're seeing with these two early stage examples. So let's get to it. Let me show you these examples. They're pretty freaking cool. So the first one is, I don't know how to say this name, Diela. And it is an artificial intelligence that has been installed, this is so good, as the first artificial intelligence serving as a minister of state in the country of Albania. And the objective of the current prime minister is to use this artificial intelligence minister to eliminate corruption in procurement and interactions with the public. I'm going to call her name Diela. I think that might be how you say it. Diela was developed by Microsoft with the help of Albania's artificial intelligence laboratory. And it is really exciting to see that at this point, I'm going to use she because I like anthropomorphizing artificial intelligence. She was announced in January of 2025, and by the middle of that same year, she had facilitated access to more than 36,000 documents and nearly 1,000 services for the public. That's pretty freaking fantastic. And between January 2025 and mid 2025, they had already produced a version 2 of her capabilities. And then, this is November, so 2 months ago, she was formally appointed as the Minister of State for Artificial Intelligence, which created some backlash because the old school, so remember, what you resist persists and gets bigger. So members of the Albanian government that represent the old school, the people who are afraid of change, were resisting and pushing back against the installation of this artificial intelligence, claiming that it was just a publicity stunt, a distraction from the corruption that the current prime minister currently benefits from. And so this is what happens with all expansion. There's always contrast in the exact same moment that expansion is happening, because contrast serves as the rocket fuel which propels the expansion alongside the desire for that same expansion. So what we're seeing here in Albania is the development of the first artificial intelligence governance minister at a cabinet level appointment, authorizing procurement responsibilities so that those procurement responsibilities will reduce corruption by as much as 100%. Now, this is not surprising. We've already seen artificial intelligence producing those type of milestones, like 85 to 99% effective in tasks it's implemented to oversee. And so this is a wonderful example of an artificial intelligence being applied in a real world government. Now, Albania is not a huge country. It's not like the United States. But here's the really cool thing. In the same way that we need billionaires and other high net worth individuals to fund the expansion into the AI age for the rest of us, these smaller countries, by being early adopters of artificial intelligence, are doing the same thing that the billionaires are doing, but at the level of policy. As these smaller countries, which by the very nature of their size, are easier able to implement such tools, such as AI, as they do so, they are acting as the test beds for larger countries like Britain, or larger regions like the European Union, or nations like the United States or China. They're acting as test beds, proof casing that AI can do what many want it to do. So I would guarantee that the United States and other large nations are looking at this Albanian experiment. And I would also guarantee that at least here in the United States, there are government officials on the Republican side that are very eager to reduce government by implementing AI systems, just like Albania has done. And that is a really, really good thing. So that's the first one I wanted to talk about. The other one I want to talk about is SAGE. So SAGE is it's described as a agentic AI tool to help governments design smarter policies for citizens. And is going to be turned on later this month. I think on the 22nd and the 26th to the 22nd, or the 26th and the 27th of November. Whereas Albania is implementing its AI to directly serve the public in a procurement capacity. Sage is being developed in order to assist government in making public services more efficient and equitable and citizen focused. It's more of a Sage contrasted with Delia. Sage is more of a simulation. It's described as an AI-powered policy simulation, sovereign compute, and multilingual co-pilot tailored to national context. So this solution, this Sage solution, is interesting because it's being offered more like a app for governments to plug artificial intelligence as a simulation into its decision making so that the decisions can be modeled so that the decisions serve the public in the maximum possible way. And the way that FII, the Future Investment Initiative Institute, describes Sage, the way they describe it is as a tool to help people, a tool to serve, to assist people in governing policy. So their argument is that they're not trying to replace human beings in decision making. They're trying to strengthen human decision making by augmenting human beings with artificial intelligence. Now, I'm not disputing that that's their intention, but I am speculating that they're positioning Sage this way so as not to scare the bejesus out of policymakers, because just like every other human laborer, policymakers' days are numbered. Artificial intelligence is going to be able to make way better policy than a human being can, because it's able to take into account many more variables and not introduce bias like a human being does, prejudice, and it will be able to make decisions faster and produce results faster. And so, in the same way that human workers are on the chopping block in the private sector, government workers and policymakers are also on the chopping block. And so this organization, this Future Investment Initiative Institute, what they're doing here, I believe, is they're kind of pandering. They're positioning their Sage tool, as an augmentation tool, as opposed to a replacement of policymakers. So as I said, the alpha version will be announced at the G20 later this month, and then global training sessions are going to be made public in 2026. I'm really excited about these two developments. Now, Delia was announced last year in 2025 in January. Now we have this Sage development coming along, and I can promise you that there are other governments as well as private sector organizations developing AI to assist governments in becoming smaller. But at the same time, while those governments become smaller, they're going to become more effective, more efficient, and better able to serve the people within those governments. And so this is why these kinds of tools, these kinds of announcements, these kind of AI applications are why I shake my head when I hear people like the person talking in silly conversations, the other YouTube channel that follows the development of artificial intelligence, the person behind that channel is not very bullish on the promise of AI. He wants to put a whole bunch of guardrails around it. I shake my head at that kind of thing because there are so much promise AI offers if it's developed in a human-centric way. But the great thing about channels like Silly Conversations and people like the people who are signing that AI ban petition, the great thing about the pushback is not only what you resist persists and gets bigger, but also it offers the contrast that causes the people who are making this AI development thing happen to pause and improve their approach. So it's all good. Everything that's happening as we move toward the AI age is good. There's nothing bad happening. And on the leading edge, while we have some goofy things like that terrible humanoid robot for the home, we also have these wonderful applications coming out like Sage and Delia, which is already out there doing great things for the citizens of Albania. I'm looking forward to more of these kinds of announcements showing that government is going to be handed over to AI, and as a result of that, our governance is going to become more peaceful, more productive, more efficient, and better able to serve everybody instead of just a few. What do you think about these developments? Are you opposed to government being run by AI? And if so, I'd love to know why. I'd love to know why, because I believe people who are against AI running government are against it because they're afraid. It's not because there are any real, concrete challenges to it running government. So if you have a yeah but about government being run by AI, I'd love to hear it. Seriously, I'd like to hear some rational arguments against it. In the meantime, I will see you in the comments and see you in the next video.